Hi, my name's Freya, and I'm a developer at Anything World, and this video is part of a series designed to get you up and running with the Anything World platform. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how you can use the Anything World platform to spawn models and environments using scripting during runtime. So the first thing I'll be showing you is the Anything Creator function. The Anything Creator is in charge of spawning dynamic models and anything basically apart from the habitats. So dynamic animated models and the static models that are not currently animated will be requested using the Anything Creator. So if we start by creating a C# script, we'll call it runtime spawning creative, but we'll have to do. And then we'll create an empty object, call this our spawner object. We drag that onto there, that will give us the basis for our runtime spawning. So if we open up this script, we're going to delete the update for the moment. But the first thing we need to do is access the Anything Creator functionality, and that's really easy just by typing in Anything Creator, and then we'll just set it to an instance of Anything Creator, call it Creator, and then we just need to set that to the Anything Creator. And this is a singleton, so you'll just set it to the instance of that class. There's only one project. Fantastic. So now we have our creator that will allow us to access all the different functionalities of the Anything Creator. So the first functionality we're going to use is creator.makeObject. And this is the simplest functionality, and this is the function that allows us to pass in a string, and then it will request an animated model from our servers. This is basically the back end of the Anything Creator editor. So when you type in anything into the editor panels, it's passed to a function that's like this, but a little bit, obviously it sanitizes the input. When you're using this function, it's basically the same back end. So if you want to type in a string here, I'm going to get a cat because that's my favorite animal. And if we request a cat there, this will just spawn a cat in the scene at the default position, and a default behavior will be added as well. So if we save that, go back to the scene, hopefully when we press play, see a cat. And there we are. So that loads a cat into the scene. It's got the random movement, which is the default behavior type for most quadrupeds, which a cat is. And yeah, so that's working all as intended. So now that we've managed to load in a cat model with behavior, you might want to know how to load in a model without any behaviors. And then we do have an option for that. So if we go back to our script and we type in creator.makeObject, you can see you've got 6 overloads for the make object. And this allows us to put in different parameters and be more specific with how we request an object from the server, and then what behaviors apply to it after it's requested. So say we don't want any of the behavior systems that Anything World package provides to be added to the model when it's requested. We'll just have to pass in a boolean after in the string for what we're requesting. So let's make a dog now, because the dog, they go together pretty well. And so instead of leaving it there, we'll overload this parameter here and say, instead of has behavior true, which is a default value, we'll input false. Make sure that there is no behavior system added to that model animation. So let's have a look and see what that does. So if we click play to activate the runtime spawning, you'll see a cat and a dog pop up this time. And there we are, there's our dog. So as you can see, it's not moving around, it's not animated, it doesn't have a behavior system, doesn't have the AW behavior controller that we're used to in our cat. So this is just an inert model, and this is kind of like the default status it's pulled into before any of the behavior is applied. So we've spawned one cat and one dog, and shown you how to make a model with a behavior and all the default settings, and a model with all the default settings with no behavior. So say now you want to spawn an object in a specific place. It's pretty easy to do that, so I'll show you how right now. So first of all, I'll make a public transform, and this will be the location in which we want to spawn our model. So we'll say model spawn location. And for this, we can probably set a game object and allow the models to be spawned there. And secondly, we'll obviously need to go back to our creator. So creator.makeObject. And then we'll want to use a third overload. So for this, we'll have to set our string. So I guess I'll make another cat. And instead of setting the hasBehavior boolean, we'll go down to this overload here, and we'll want the vector3. And so for this, we'll pass in the vector3 position of our model spawn location transform. So position. And this will spawn the model at the position that our transform is set to. We can also pass in hasBehavior or hasBehavior false here. I'm just going to leave it because I want this model to have behavior. So actually, maybe we'll add a wrap. Got to mix it up, huh? So save that, navigate back into the scene. We can test. Oh wait, I missed out one thing. So we need to actually set a transform in order for that function to work properly. If I set as model, if I create an object and call it model spawn location, then click drag it to there. So then we can drag around our transform, spawn our model, and now we can just drag this anywhere, and hopefully our model should spawn at runtime. So let's have a look. You see our cat, our dog, and then hopefully our rat. And as you can see, the model is spawned. right on the transform. So another functionality of the make object function is the ability to pass in a rotation as a parameter. So if we go back to our runtime spawning script, and you see I've commented out the previous statement so that our scene is a little bit less crowded. If we type in creator make object, and we want to do the same as we did before, so passing in our string and position. So I'm going to go with the cat again, and then we want our position, and then in addition to the position we also want to pass in a rotation, and the rotation is passed in the form of a quaternion. So if we pass in our rotation of the transform, the model spawn transform that we're using, so we'll go model spawn location and then rotation, which you can see is a quaternion. And you'll see the overload comes up and it's got our string, object position and object rotation. You can also choose to pass in the has behavior boolean. I'm going to leave it as true. We save that, go into our scene. So the rotation and the position are passed in from this transform here on the game object. So I've chosen to rotate it by 180 degrees and we put it a bit up in the air so hopefully we can see how it spawns. So let's have a look and see what happens. As you can see, our cat spawns upside down and manages to land on its feet. Yeah, that's our position and rotation spawn. So that covers the main transformation component, so you can pass in to the make object function. However, you may want to parent the object that you spawn under a certain object within the scene, as is often the case within game development. So I'll show you how to do that now. So if we open up our script once again, I've commented out the previous line, and we're going to once again type the creator.make object, and we're going to pass in all the values that we've currently passed in. So position, the spawn location, the local scale. And in addition to that, we can also pass in a transform. This transform will act as a parent transform, and the model we spawned in as a child of this transform. So what I'm going to do is not parent it under, but then make a new transform called public parent. And I'm going to pass in the parent form that we want to parent this model to. Save this statement here, go back to the scene. Now before we can start, we need to create another game object, model parent. We go to our spawner, use transform, and set that transform to be transform which we want to parent our model to. So now once we press play, we should see the model is spawned with the position, rotation, and scale of our spawn location and parented to our model parent transform. You can see our cat spawned in, our smaller cat than we used to, and it's also been parented under the model parent transform. So you can use this to parent any kind of dynamically created asset under whatever game object or transform that you want to place. So I'm going to wrap up here for this video. This has been the first part of our runtime API tutorial covering how to use the Anything Creator to make objects by passing in just string. In addition to that, we've learned how to customize our object spawns so that we can give them an object position, rotation, and scale, as well as set whether they have behavior and parent them to a specific transform if required. So if you have any more questions, feel free to contact us. You can find our details on our website at anything.world. In addition to that, there's also lots more documentation on that website and tutorials if you go to anything.world/developers. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.